There's too many Spider-Men. Too many. I mean, look around you. There's the black one, the Jewish one, the one that never ages, the Japanese one, the Nick Cage one, the homophobic one.
Whoa!
None of that matters now because we're talking about the OG Spider-Man. I'm talking about Tobey Maguire, man, covertly watching his neighbour, cowering from Macho Man, shooting his DNA all over the place, onto the lamps, the photographs, onto this crane, onto the Dr. Pepper that he would later drink, everywhere. The movie starts and Peter is late for his bus, and for whatever reason, everyone at this high school is a massive and they're on a school trip, and Harry Osborn is busting his dad's balls for pulling up in the Bentley. And he's like, Dad, stop flexing our wealth in front of the cheerleaders. One of them might try to me off. That's how I met your mother. I look at you and regret it daily. Then he meets Peter and he's like, why don't you come and work for me when you graduate? I mean, I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but I'm currently working on a goblin serum that turns you insane. And I don't really understand what's going on here. This lady is just explaining what spiders are, and apparently they also make spiders here too. And then she's like, oh, and by the way, some of these spiders are irradiated to bejesus, and we just don't put them back in the boxes sometimes. So, you know, watch out. I think one of your fucking Chernobyl spiders just bit me. Oh, did you sign a waiver? No, then I didn't see shit. Meanwhile, at Oscorp, they're having a hard time selling goblin-themed weapons to the army, and Defoe is like, I don't understand. The army wear green, goblins are green. Why isn't this idea making money? There's got to be a way to make money from goblins. I mean, this guy even has a goblin name. Anyway, Peter gets home and is like, off to bed, not well. And Uncle Ben is like, boy, you're gonna tear the head off that thing if you don't slow down. But Peter is a bit green around the gills from the massive amounts of radiation in his blood. And speaking of green, Defoe is like, give me the goblin serum. My chin is not nearly pointy enough. So Peter wakes up the next day with eyeballs that work and a sexy new bod. And he's not alarmed by this at all. I always took Peter's transformation into Spider-Man as a metaphor for puberty. You know, his body's changing, there's jizz everywhere, he's following his neighbour around, spying on her, becoming dangerously obsessed with her. Basic teenage stuff. But all this stalking and muttering to himself in the street has caused him to miss the bus again. But he uses his new sticky hand power on the bus, and since when were banners on the side of buses printed on fucking normal paper? Anyway, later that day, he's at the cafeteria and nobody notices there's streams of sticky white fluid gushing out of this guy. So he throws carrots at the bully and he has a rumble with him and he uses all of his new spider powers on clear display. Everybody's gonna fucking remember this forever. I remember all the weird shit from school. When he starts swinging around Manhattan a few months from now, everybody's gonna be like, oh well, that's clearly the sticky autistic kid I went to school with who did all them somersaults. So he hits Flash with leopard fist, but everybody is like, I can't believe you didn't just stand there and let him beat you to death. What a weirdo. So he runs away, and he can run, but he can't climb, but he can climb. And somehow, from fucking sticking to walls, he decided the next logical step is to throw himself off of a 20-story building. And then he gets another idea. Then he catches the tail end of this domestic dispute in progress. And Mary Jane is like, I'm gonna move to the city and become an actress. And Peter's like, oh, when that doesn't work out, I can't wait to illegally download all the porn you're gonna be in. Anyway, he needs some new wheels so that the floozy next door will pay attention to him. And he sees this ad that says $3,000 if you can last 3 minutes. So he needs a costume for the wrestling match, and he starts sketching away, and Aunt May is like, Peter, I need to talk to you about all the semen, and he's like, the webs. So later on, Uncle Ben drops him off at the match, and he's like, Peter, always remember, with great power comes great respect. What? Yeah, if you're strong, everybody has to do what you say, otherwise you just bash the fucking skulls in. Violence is king. I'm not sure this is a very good life lesson. Look, Pete, I don't really give a fuck what you do. You're not my kid. As a matter of fact, I hated your father. He once tried to drown me in a swimming pool when we were kids. So fuck that guy and his whore wife. I'm glad he's dead. Anyway, what were we talking about? So Peter's got to go wrestle Macho Man. And if you've been watching my videos, you may know that I'm quite partial to sliding in Randy Savage where I can. But yeah, he's actually in this movie, so I don't need to. Anyway, once again, he uses all his spider powers on clear display and tells the promoters who he is. Then they fleece him of his $3,000. So he doesn't stop this armed robbery and he's like, ha! Edgy one-liner. But the joke's on him because the same guy shot his uncle down like a dog. And Uncle Ben is like, remember Peter, beer before liquor, never been sicker. And Peter's like, oh, revenge. So he chases the guy into this burnt out building and he uses his power really responsibly by breaking this guy's face then throwing him out of a window. Good job, that was definitely the right guy. Meanwhile, at this exoskeleton demonstration, the radar's going nuts, man. What do you see? An unidentified flying goblin. We have to tell Joe Rogan. So Peter graduates from college and Defoe is like, I couldn't help but notice all the green you're wearing. You're like a brother to Harry, which sort of makes me your dad. And since your actual dad and surrogate dad are both worm food, how's about you let me, slide right in there? Like my dad always said, us goblins gotta look out for each other. What? No, nothing. I'm just thinking about goblins. Side note, the Green Goblin got Harry and Peter, like, a really nice loft apartment in Manhattan. So, just how crazy does this goblin potion make him? And afterwards, he's having a good climax. And he decides to work through his grief. He's gonna start battering criminals, then hosing them down with web fluid, because all violence is about sexual authority. Oh, and somehow he makes a movie-grade suit in his smelly bedroom. And everyone in New York is baffled by the sudden appearance of this Spider-Man.
Guy with 8 hands. Sounds hot.
What the fuck is that? But all this vigilante activity has caught the ire of beloved Korean War veteran and editor-in-chief of the Daily Bugle, Jigsaw Jameson. And him and Robbie are getting into it over whether or not Spider-Man is a menace. And, wait, hold on a minute. I don't remember that from when I was a kid. In the meantime, his spider powers have taken his stalking ability to a whole nother concerning level. And the only guy who can stop any of this thinks he's a goblin. Oh, I wasn't following you. What a coincidence. Oh, and by the way, I'm banging your best friend. Sorry. Don't tell Harry I'm waiting tables. Oh, don't worry about him. He's a fucking snob and he doesn't live on planet Earth. He does, however, live in a spacious downtown loft. I know because I live there too and his dad pays for it. Anyway, Peter's been sacked from his day job at the peanut factory. So he's going to take pictures of Spider-Man and sell them to Jameson. And Jameson is like, I've worked in this industry since before you were a tingle in your dead daddy's balls. These are clearly stationary timed shots and you're clearly Spider-Man. Like this one, you would have to have been 20 stories up on the side of a building to take this photograph. But also, I love money, so you got a deal. So anyway, Defoe is at a board meeting and he's like, this fiscal quarter profits are down, but goblins are up. I call that a win. Norman, the company is hemorrhaging money. I was down in R&D the other day and they're making bombs that look like tiny pumpkins. Even if we could sell those on the black market, people would only buy them on Halloween and the trick-or-treating extremist is not a strong market niche. It's not a niche at all. But I built this company. Look, nobody's disputing that. Can we just go back to building, I don't know, regular missiles instead of goblin ones? What about a pumpkin missile? Where have you gotten this idea that goblins are somehow linked to pumpkins? So the next day, it's the Oscorp Festival, because that's a thing, I guess. And Harry is like, I wanted to introduce you to my father today and impress him, but you've chosen, as a white woman from Queens, to wear a bright red kimono. You look like a fool, and you're really upsetting the Japanese shareholders. Oh man, you're in a wheelchair. The guy that wastes you is really gonna look like a bastard. But then the goblin attacks, never forget. But Spider-Man to the rescue, and he must be swampy as fuck. I mean, he's wearing a rubber suit under several layers of clothing, running about in June. Anyway, the Goblin Mars attacks these guys with his pumpkin bomb, and he uses his state-of-the-art goblin brick on Harry. Okay, so I understand the suit is like a combat outfit made for the glider, and it's green because it was designed for the army. But where the fuck did he get this mask from? Did he just walk into R&D one day and said, oh, I want it to look like a goblin because, I'm the boss, do it. So they have a bit of a rumble. And then the goblin leaves because, he needs a long shower after that. And this rigid spider mannequin swings Mary Jane to safety. The next day, the goblin tears a hole in Jameson's wall to find out who's taking the photos of Spider-Man. And Jameson is like, I knew you two were in cahoots, but Spider-Man is spent from shooting too many webs. So anyway, the goblin lays it down for Spider-Man and he tells him that he wants him to join him. It doesn't look at who he is though, because the rest of the film has to happen. Then later on, in the middle of the night, he's like, hey, it's me again. How was your audition? He's just stalking her now. Just move past it. But then he saves her from these goons, justifying to himself this dangerously obsessive behaviour. And then the next day, he nearly gets caught because Defoe can smell his ketchup blood. And they're having dinner. And imagine this silly old bitch slapped your hand like that. Goblin madness serum or no, that would piss anybody off.
Do what you need to with her, then broom her fast.
I can't believe you didn't knock your own father out for a girl you've been dating for a month. And what's even funnier, the goblin is totally correct here. She does just float from man to man based on who has the shiniest trinkets or the biggest webs. Meanwhile, back at the goblin cave, he shotguns a bottle of Maker's Mark and then he's like, what are we going to do about Spider-Man goblin mask? Well, before we do anything, we're going to go after that old bitch who wouldn't let us have any of that tuna pasta bake. So the goblin kidnaps Mary Jane and he gives Spider-Man an unbeatable Kobayashi Maru choice. But the goblin wasn't counting on these bridge-dwelling New Yorkers. So he has to have a bare knuckle with Spider-Man and he stabs him in the cock. Then he takes the dead body back to his house for Harry to see because fuck James Franco.